Have you ever blacked out, only to wake up hours later, with no memory of what happened? I've had nightmares before, waking up in strange places. Sleepwalking, maybe. But the fear, the confusion, the terror, it lingers. You brush it off as nothing, a trick of the mind. But what happens when it happens to a group? And worse, when they deny it ever took place? This is my story. Are you scared? I am the keeper of shadows, the unseen guardian of fear, the silent warden of nightmares. Long have I roamed the corridors of the human mind, seeking those who dare to suppress their darkest truths. Each of you harbors shadows, secrets, regrets, terrors you lock away, hoping they will fade. But shadows do not vanish, they grow. I am drawn to the torment, the fear, to the whispers that echo in your mind when the lights go out. Their stories, their screams, are my legacy. You see, I do not narrate these tales to amuse or entertain. No, I speak so you may remember, fear is eternal. And in the end, it is the shadows you fear most that will claim you. As a child, I had many strange and unsettling missing time experiences, but none more terrifying than the ones I still can't explain. It was as if something was watching me, or worse, manipulating my very perception of reality. Most often, these occurrences happened in the middle of the night. I would suddenly find myself in the basement, heart pounding, drenched in cold sweat, and overcome by an overwhelming sense of dread. The air would feel thick, as if something sinister was just out of sight, waiting. These moments always seemed to coincide with vivid, nightmarish visions, images of fire, destruction, and chaos, as though the world was unraveling in front of my eyes. Are you scared? Prove it. Like and subscribe. I used to brush it off, thinking it was just a combination of bad dreams and sleepwalking. But then came the afternoon, broad daylight, clear skies, and a sun that felt almost too warm. This time, I wasn't asleep. I was wide awake, surrounded by friends as we melted dry ice in a puddle near the entrance of our court. It was supposed to be a fun, simple afternoon, but something was off. Suddenly, an unspoken compulsion hit all of us at once. An irresistible urge to run. It wasn't a suggestion. It wasn't even a decision. It was like we were puppets on strings, all of us moving in perfect synchronization, each of us feeling that same overpowering pull, as if our very souls were being dragged towards something we couldn't see. Without a word, we sprinted across the street and into the woods. I didn't question it. In fact, it felt like the most natural thing in the world. Come to me. I remember the rush of wind against my face, the sound of footsteps pounding in sync with my friends. But the further we ran, the more the air seemed to grow heavier, more oppressive. It wasn't just the physical exertion, it was something else, something darker. I could feel the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end, a creeping sensation that something was watching us. But no one said anything. We just ran, compelled to follow the pull that none of us could explain. Then, nothing. The next thing I knew, I was standing in my living room, drenched in sweat, trembling uncontrollably. An hour had passed, but it wasn't just an hour. The entire experience felt as though it had been wiped from my mind, replaced with nothing but a heavy, suffocating silence. I was back home, but something was wrong. My friends were nowhere to be found. I was alone. I started crying, shaking uncontrollably. I felt a deep, gnawing terror that I couldn't place. What happened in that missing hour? Where had I gone? Where had my friends gone? Had they felt it too? Or had I been the only one who lost time, who changed? I tried to call my friends, but none of them answered. I didn't see them again for weeks, and when I finally did, their eyes were different. Something in them had shifted. They never mentioned the woods, never acknowledged the lost hour. They acted like nothing had happened. But I knew. I could see it in their faces. To this day, I can't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone that day. That something, someone, was guiding us, pulling the strings, watching. What if it was all part of something bigger? Something waiting for us? I can still hear it in the silence. The distant hum that fills my ears when I think about that hour. Something is out there, and it's not finished with me yet. That day is a puzzle I can't solve, and the more I try to understand it, the more I feel like I'm falling deeper into a mystery I'll never escape.
Come to me.